Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, inshallah. We'll carry on today where we left off. Brother Alam Gheer was supposed to read, but he's not yet here. Khaybar, please read the second comprehension and then answer the questions. Translate every sentence as you read it. Bismillah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فاطمة مدرسة في المرحلة الابتدائية. Fatima is a teacher in the college of ابتدائية متوسطة ثانوية, in the primary school.
Yeah, Ibtidaiya is the very first. I don't know what you guys call it. Is it called elementary, nursery school? Something along those lines. Ibtidaiya is like when you're 6 to about 9 years old, like that.
Nursery is here at 4, and then reception is at 5.
And then primary.
1, 2, 3. But that's all primary.
Yeah, so here Ibtidaiya and Mutawassita is like primary school and a little bit of high school. So Alam Gheer, Assalamu alaikum. Well, carry on.
وعليكم السلام.
You were supposed to read this yesterday. Carry on.
فاطمة مدرسة في المرحلة فاطمة مدرسة في المرحلة الابتدائية تستيقظ.
Translate.
Yeah. Fatima is in the madrasa at the initial stage or initial level, primary level.
Mudarrisatun is what?
Oh, she's a teacher. She's a teacher in a primary school or primary level. تستيقظ الساعة الخامسة فجرا. She wakes up at 5 o'clock Fajr time.
Yeah,
Fajr. Yeah, morning. وتذهب إلى المدرسة الساعة السادسة صباحا. And she goes to the madrasa at 6 o'clock morning.
يبدأ اليوم الدراسي الساعة السابعة صباحا. She starts the learning.
The school day, basically.
She starts the school.
Not she starts. يبدأ اليوم الدراسي. يبدأ here, this fairly speaking about يوم الدراسي, i.e. the school day starts at 7 in the morning.
وينتهي الساعة الثانية عشرة ظهرا. And she finishes at 12 ظهر time. فاطمة تدرس فاطمة 5 حصص في اليوم. Fatima teaches 5 classes in a day.
Yeah, 5 lessons.
5 lessons. Okay. تدرس اللغة العربية والثقافة الإسلامية والعلوم. She teaches اللغة العربية, culture, Islamic culture and sciences. تذهب فاطمة في الاستراحة إلى المكتبة. Fatima goes to the maktaba is library or it's a
في الاستراحة.
Yeah, it's a library in a maktaba. I forgot it.
Maktaba is a library, but what's the sentence saying? تذهب فاطمة في الاستراحة.
Goes to the library for the break or at
break time, basically, yeah.
وتقرأ كتابا أو صحيفة. And she reads books and literature and maybe
a book or a newspaper.
A book or newspaper.
أحسنت.
فاطمة مدرسة. في أي مرحلة تدرس؟ في المرحلة I can't pronounce this word.
ابتدائية.
ابتدائية. في المرحلة الابتدائية. متى تستيقظ من النوم؟ الساعة 5 فجرا. متى تذهب إلى المدرسة؟ الساعة 6 صباحا. متى يبدأ اليوم الدراسي؟ الساعة 7. متى ينتهي؟ وينتهي الساعة 12. كم حصة تدرس فاطمة في اليوم؟ 5 حصص. ماذا تدرس؟
What's the meaning?
Where does she teach?
خيبر ماذا تدرس means
What she
What
teaches.
does
What she teaches. Yeah. What she teaches. تدرس اللغة العربية والثقافة الإسلامية.
تدرس
اللغة العربية والثقافة الإسلامية والعلوم. أين تذهب في الاستراحة؟ إلى المكتبة. ماذا تفعل في المكتبة؟ تقرأ كتابا أو صحيفة.
أحسنت, well done. Right, next one you've got الصل بين الحروف. They're saying join the letters. It's a writing exercise. Join between the letters here, so you get a word. That's writing. And here you've also got another writing exercise. Then here they're asking you to write the word that's under the picture. So this is a طفل, child, and then look at everything here and write it in. After that, again, you've got a writing exercise. Then you've got a writing exercise, fill in the gaps. And then look for the odd one out, or the one that's written wrongly. Look at this, طيران. It's actually طيران is the correct word. And again, you've got some words there. It's all writing. Inshallah, you guys can go through it. And then you come here to the exam. Okay. So this is module 7 and module 8. You guys should finish out the exam. And then, inshallah, what we'll do, we will, bi'idhnillah, go over this book again. So, inshallah, from tomorrow, we'll start with revision in this book, preferably one module a day. And if it's too long, then half a module a day, along with taking a bit of Nahw, inshallah. We'll start with Al-Ajurrumiyyah, a simple book in Nahw, and we'll take a few lessons from there a week, inshallah. Then we'll go on to a little bit of Sarf also, so you can understand Nahw and Sarf. So you've got a good understanding. Right now, you've got a lot of vocab, but for example, you guys are still rusty when it comes to your i'rab, when it comes to whether this is a fatha, kasra, dhamma, sukun at the end of the letter, at the end of the word. And you're also rusty when it comes to the wazn and the sarf of these verbs. So inshallah, we'll take that. Any questions you guys got from what we've taken so far?
No, Sheikh.
Yes. No question, Sheikh.
Okay, so far, how have you found the book? What have you benefited? Where do you feel you are lacking? Where do you think we can improve?
I think it's a very, like, I feel really like a good, like positive. At least, I have the basics now, and I know I'm doing a lot of mistakes, but I feel like I have gained a lot from the level 1, and this book is designed in a very good way. So I really love it.
Ahsant. And we personally, obviously, you haven't learned Arabic fully, so you wouldn't know where it would be lacking. There's a few places lacking. Khaybar, what do you think you've learned before? What do you think I know you haven't finished all the lessons, but the ones you've taken so far, where can we improve? What have you benefited, and where do you think you're lacking?
Probably, I didn't learn vocab, I didn't learn verbs. Here I've practiced verbs, I've applied them. The Jumlatul Fi'aliyya, Fi'al, Fa'il, Maf'ul. I've had a chance to apply it while speaking.
Here.
And in this book. And, this book I think is very beneficial. It has benefited me. It forces you to use your vocab. I
And,
enjoyed it.
and when you learned before, how long did you learn for?
How long?
Yeah.
I went very far, but it was all knowledge. I didn't apply. I learned Nahw Sarf, then I learned advanced Nahw. At advanced Sarf, I stopped irregular Sarf, Majhul. There were 6 types of irregular Sarf. I haven't read it for the last 3-4 months.
And did you learn all that in English or you learned it in Arabic?
In English, I learned in English.
Okay, so inshallah we'll take all that.
This I want to learn it from zero. I'm trying to think of myself as new to Arabic. I think the best way to learn it is to start from zero. I'm gonna go with your lesson.
Inshallah, benefit from everybody else, no problem at all. Just remember, there's a lot of books you can take. So, for example, there's some lessons I did mention. We'll take the Medina books. But there's some lessons we will skip in them unless you guys want to go through them, because there's we're trying to save time. There's a lot of different books out there, whether it's in fiqh or any other subject. And the thing is that because your lifespan is limited, you can't carry on learning the same thing in Arabic in 5 different books. If all of them are giving you roughly the same thing at the end of the day, you choose one book and can stick to it and benefit from the others, complete with your naqs or whatever may be deficient. So inshallah, from tomorrow, we'll start with Nahw. But just to give you guys a little bit of an overview, so let me share my screen here since we've got some time and you guys don't really have any questions. So what we've taken so far, we've taken a lot of vocab. What we've taken so far, okay, I'm going to put here. What we've taken so far, we've taken vocab, or should I say we've taken conversations, right? We've taken conversations that you use. And these conversations, right? I'm going to put the conversations, convos, right? And they've exposed you or given you exposure to nouns, right? And they've given you exposure to verbs, right? And they've given you what's a harf, some huruf to ask, huruf al-istifham, questioning words, etc. Okay. Right, so you've got the basics, you've got, they've taught you a little bit of sentence structure, how sentences are structured, how to address people, etc. They also indirectly told you in Arabic that you've got, so this is one part, right? Now there's another part. They've also indirectly in Arabic told you you've got masculine and feminine. You've got masculine and feminine, right? That's something. They've also told you in Arabic when you're speaking to people, you either, or speaking about things, it's either singular or it can be dual. Dual means two people exactly. Let's say tathniya, and you've got plural, right? So they've also given you exposure to that plural. Then they've also given you exposure to a little bit of sarf without telling you. Sarf. So what's sarf? Sarf, Khaybar, since you learned sarf before I start, tell us a little bit about it. What exactly are you looking at?
So an Arabic word that can be broken down into 3 words. The jidr, I believe it's called. And from that you can make the sarf as a pattern. And those words, if you put it into them, you make all the words that can be created from those 3 letters. For example, Sin Lam Mim, Aslama. He submitted. Aslama Yuslimu, he submits. Islaman, Islam, فهو Muslim. All these words, they came from the 3 letters.
Right, and there's a book that speaks about the meaning of 3 letters. I told you guys at the beginning of when we first started these lessons. Which book is it? Where he gives you the 3 letters and tells you anything that comes on this wazn is like a weight. So, and I gave you the example of Jim and Noon, Jannah. Forgot the book. Let's go back to the lessons and check. He tells you it's about the different meanings, and it also enhances your vocab. Basically, in Sarf, you're looking at, you've got a root. So in Arabic, you've got root words, also known as a masdar, right? Just I'll give you an overview, then you go into detail. So from this root word, right, example, darban, you can derive past tense, present tense, future tense, as well as amr and what's known as ism fa'il. So the actual doer of it, the doer of the act of hitting is a darib, and the one being hit is madrub. And all this comes on a certain scale, and you're going to learn. So it's all about learning the scale and learning the different types of them. Basically, why is it daraba? And if it's daraba, why isn't it, for example, dariba? Or are there other words that come on that wazn where there's a kasra in the middle there? So inshallah, we'll take all that. So that's sarf in a nutshell. Then you got Nahw. Nahw is your grammar. Always Nahw is speaking about the haraka, either the fatha, kasra, dhamma, etc., on the last letter of the word. So let's say you got a word here. You've got Muhammad, right? Is it Muhammadun, Muhammadan, Muhammadin? When is it with two dhammas? When is it with two fathas, two kasras, etc.? So Nahw is speaking about this. So if you see where we came from, you learned all these conversations, you're learning vocab, you've got a bit of sentence structure. As long as you've got a little bit of this vocab, sentence structure, and as long as you know a little bit of Nahw and a little bit of Sarf, you're good to go in terms of speaking, understanding, etc. Then you build on that. So these are like your main three principles. More than that, then you're becoming more eloquent when you're looking at balagha, matn al-lugha, etc. So you need to learn when to make this dhamma and when to make it fatha, because it can change the meaning completely. We told you that, for example, fa'il, the person doing the action, is always marfu', has a dhamma, or whatever substitutes a dhamma. So the minute you say, you put a fatha, you've changed it to say, you know what, he's actually not the one doing the action, but the action was done on him. So that's why it's so important to have your fa'il is always marfu', maf'ul bih is mansub, and all this comes in Nahw. Then in Nahw, the book we'll take, inshallah, he puts it very simply to you, where he first divides everything into ism, fi'l, and harf, right? So you've got here ism, for example, and then you've got fi'l, then you've got harf, right? He tells you these three categories. Then he speaks about the harakat. So he tells you, for example, you've got, so that's put a line there. You've got harakat. What do you have? You have a dhamma, and you have a fatha, and you have a kasra, and you have a sukun. This is what you can have at the end, right? Then he starts telling you, okay, when something is supposed to have a dhamma, or when it's supposed to be more correctly, we'll say marfu'. Marfu' is like a category. So this here, let's call it here marfu'. All right. And the main head, the main thing in this category is a dhamma. Okay. So this category has many things in it. The main category is a dhamma. But at times he'll tell you, you know what, there's some words that even though they're marfu', they can't take a dhamma. So we've got a substitute to that dhamma. It's a dhamma, okay? And for example, it may be a letter, it may be a waw, or it may be a noon, or it may be a this, and you learn all of that. So that's all the harakat and their substitutes. So for example, you've got what's known as asma'ul khamsa. Don't worry about memorizing this now. I'm just giving you an overview. So abuka, for example, is marfu'. Well, how is it marfu'? Not because of dhamma, because of the waw. The minute you want to say, you say ja'a is a fi'l. Abuka is fa'il marfu'. And alamatu raf'ihi al-waw. its sign that it's marfu' is the waw, and you learn that. Okay, so basically after he explains all this to you, then he tells you, he then starts breaking it down for you. He says, okay, right, now he puts it again, he comes back to this categorization, this first one here. Let me change my color. He comes back to this category here. He told you about ism, fi'l, and harf, and then he told you about fatha, dhamma, kasra, and sukoon. Now he starts telling you, right, al-ism, it will be, there's certain ones which will be marfu', certain ones which will be mansub. When will they be mansub? And majroor, etc. Or kasra. Then fi'l, and then it speaks a little bit about huruf. So inshallah, we'll take all that. You learn a lot, bi'idhnillah. The main thing is to practice, make notes, and revise. Try to teach others. So inshallah, we'll take that. We'll start from tomorrow, inshallah. We'll go slowly. The book is called Al-Ajurrumiyyah. Some people say Al-Ajurramiyyah. It's a small matan. In the olden days, or the scholars from previous times, all this knowledge, because it's so much, in order to make it easy, they wrote summarized versions where they give you a main rule, and could even be in 1 or 2 words. And under that, you've got so much detail. You can go into as much detail as you want. So in every science of Islamic knowledge, they gave you a matan. Okay? So for example, fiqh got its mutun, and then you've got your matan that can be at beginner level, and an intermediate level, and an advanced level. So in fiqh, in aqidah, all this to make it easy for students to memorize these small mutun, and if you can't memorize, at least to understand them well, and you know every line, every word, there's a mas'ala speaking about it. So for example, give you an example in fiqh, in the book Zadul Mustaqni, is in Hanbali fiqh, he says, speaking about zakah, and he tells you, tajibu bi shurutin khamsa. It's zakah is compulsory with 5 conditions. Then he speaks about, then he says hurriya. Hurriya is freedom, the fact that a person isn't a slave, because there's slavery in those days. Just this word here, hurriya, right? You know the rule, you know the condition, but under it comes so much detail. So the detail is found in the shuruhat, the explanations of these mutun. So similarly in fiqh, in aqidah, etc., you've got these small mutun. In the same way in Nahw, sarf, Arabic language, you've got. So generally a good book to start with is this one, Al-Ajurrumiyyah. Take it, master it, and then after that you can go to Alfiyya, Ibn Malik, inshallah. And you also learn some sarf. There's a few books also, as well as fiqh and aqidah and all Islamic sciences. And all these, they come to, you need all of them in order to be a complete student of knowledge, complete alim later on, inshallah, complete teacher, bi'idhnillah. Any questions before we end of today?
Sheikh, can you please share the soft copy of the book?
Inshallah, I'll put it for you. It's I'll put for you a copy of matan. There's 4 mutun inside there. I'll tell you which one it is, which page. There's other books. And then if you can memorize, try to memorize. We'll only take 3 or 4 lines. And that was the method of our Sheikh in the Haram. He actually brought these different mutun together and put them. And he would only test us every day. We would do 3 to 4 and sometimes 5 subjects. We would start off with fiqh. And Zadul Mustaqni, he used to be teaching. Then Ahadith al-Ahkam, which was Bulugh al-Maram. And he would either be teaching anything from Fara'id, Arabiyya, or Nahw, etc. And what he would do is that he would give us before the lesson 3 or 4 lines to memorize. If it's a hadith, 2 or 3, depending on how long they are, sometimes 1. In fiqh, like a paragraph, and we would memorize. And then before the lesson, when we were in the haram, he used to wait at good 10, 15, 20 minutes. He used to listen to everybody who was there. Sometimes you could listen to 30, 40, 50 people look at you and you read. And then after that, he would explain it. So the fact that you've memorized it and then you've got the explanation, inshallah, you're less likely to forget. And we always used to write down the explanation. So whatever he used to explain, we used to write. Then he used to ask us questions. And in that way, over time, alhamdulillah, we managed to memorize as well as take the explanation and do revision with the Sheikh. So I encourage you also to memorize, understand, even if you don't know the Arabic for now, you don't know the meaning, inshallah, you get to know it. Then you know immediately, straight away, that, for example, tomorrow you're teaching someone Nahw, you know how to start, you know where to start, you know the main rules. You're teaching someone fiqh, you know the main rules. And that's has been the method of the scholars from long ago. And that's why if you read some of the introductions of these mutun, so for example, in Zadul Mustaqni', the author at the very beginning in his muqaddimah, after praising Allah and sending peace and salutations upon Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says that this is a mukhtasar, فهذا مختصر في الفقه. This is a summary or summarized version of fiqh on the madhab of Imam Ahmad. This mutun written on different madhahib. Then he mentions some of the reasons why he wrote the matan. He says إذ الهمم قد قصرت والأسباب المثبطة عن نيل المراد قد كثرت. إذ الهمم قد قصرت means because the people's motivation in this time it's become less. They don't really want to work as hard, and the means to distract people have become more. والأسباب المثبطة عن نيل المراد قد كثرت. So he mentions that's one of the reasons for him putting this matan together. So imagine if he's speaking about at that time, what about us? So I would encourage you to memorize, learn, study, and you'll find that as you grow older, this is a period of time that will come to an end. You'll become busy, you'll do different things, and you won't have most probably this time again. After it's gone, it's generally gone. And then you have to teach, or you become busy. So inshallah, I'll send you that. Anything else?
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh.
No, Sheikh.
Barakallah fiik. So inshallah, see you tomorrow. We'll do some revision. Do the exams. We'll start with our revision tomorrow, and we'll also start with some Nahw. Inshallah, remind me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.